All right, folks. Well, I think we're all here. A couple of people are connecting to audio, but why don't we go ahead and get started? Since it's 7:01 p.m. So welcome everyone to the December 15th, 2022 Historic Districts Commission meeting in the town of Concord, Massachusetts. I am Peter Nobley. I'm the vice chair. I'm sitting in for the chair who's absent tonight. We will review 4 new applications and 1 continuance this evening, and we have a little bit of other business at the end. If you'll indulge me, I have to read a little speech. Since we are conducting this meeting online, we're doing that in accordance with the Commonwealth of Mass Executive Order suspending certain provisions of open meeting law. The public may access the call through both telephone and video conferencing. Members of the public will have an opportunity to ask questions and provide public comment on applications and discussions following the petitioner's presentation and questions from the commission. To do that, please raise your hand using the participant function of the Zoom meeting platform. If you're calling in and cannot use Zoom, you can raise your hand by dialing *9, and one way or another we'll see you. Our host, Haley, will mute microphones of those not speaking, except for the commissioners, the host, and the current applicant. But if you wouldn't mind just checking to make sure you're muted if you're not speaking, that would be super helpful. I'll call on each commissioner for comments on an application after the presentation. Then we'll open the meeting for public comment. Once there are no more public comments, I'll ask for a motion from the commission to continue, approve with conditions, or deny the application. A second, and then we'll do a roll call vote. And once we've acted on your application, you're free to leave the meeting. And let me just do a quick roll call of commissioners tonight. Kate, is Kate here?
I am here now.
Kate is here, present. Dennis is here. Abigail is
Present.
here. Catherine.
Present.
Hi, Catherine. Henry Moss.
Here.
Hi, Henry. I'm here. Melinda
Here.
Shumway. And Paul Ware. I don't know if Paul's here. And Luis Beresbetia, the chair, is absent. So voting members this evening will be, the full members are Abigail, Melinda, and me. And why don't we add, just for this, in the spirit of the holidays, let me see who's got the nicest outfit on. No, I'm kidding. How about Henry and Catherine?
Sure.
Those will be the 5 voting members this evening. We'll spare Kate and Dennis for later. All right. So without further delay, why don't we go ahead and get started? Our first new public hearing is at 409 Barrett's Mill Road. This is in the Barrett Farm Historic District. And this is to alter an application to alter a sunroom with new fenestration and siding. And are the applicants here? There you are. Oh, you're muted though.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, hi. Are you Rachel?
I am not, actually. My name is Natalie Appleton, and my husband and I own Appleton Design Group, which is a design build firm in Concord. And Rachel Coleman and Bill Santerre are our clients. They've hired us to do the work, so we are applying for them. They are in attendance in case they need to be here, but.
Okay, thank you. Would you mind walking us through the application? I think we can put it up on the screen for you.
Oh, perfect. Great.
Yep, one moment.
Thank you, Haley. Thank you. And we've looked at it, but good to just have you run through it.
Can everybody see that?
Yes, ma'am. All
Okay.
right, take it away.
Okay, so this is the house as it is now, the existing house. And as you'll see in the middle between the original house on the right and the garage on the left, there is the sunroom, which is what I'm referring to. And right now it has stucco siding and it has 3 very contemporary glass doors in the middle. We want to do some interior design work there, creating an office space and a laundry room in that space, which would require, hopefully, if we can, changing out these doors. If you want to scroll down, yeah. So those are the 3 doors, just to be clear, that we want to change out. We also are doing it also for, yeah, you can scroll down one more time. We're doing it for aesthetic reasons as well, because they've always thought that looked very modern and not in keeping with the rest of the style of their original home on the right. So we would like to add a window where the left door was, and a more traditional entrance door on the right. And then for the siding, we want to do board and batten as opposed to the stucco, to kind of bring it to more a traditional look. And that is what we're appealing for today.
All right, and I think there were some photos. Can
I did include some photos in the packet of the exterior.
we look at those too, Haley, please?
Mhm.
Thank you. All right, so there's the house. And I don't think we really need to look at the site plan. We're really just looking at fenestration on the front. Is there anything changing on the back? Is it Natalie?
Natalie, yes, Natalie.
Yeah, is there anything changing on the back?
No, this is the only change to the
Okay.
side.
How about fences or lighting or anything else changing?
That's not in our scope of the work. We haven't even talked about that, so no.
Okay. All right, so let's see now. Do you know, may I ask you, when was so it's basically a breezeway between the original house and an addition. Is the breezeway the same vintage as the garage?
It
Do
is,
you know?
yes. The old owner added the garage as a dance studio. And so she added that breezeway so she could have, students come in and not enter through her original home from 1972, but this was added, I believe, sometime in the late 80s.
Okay. Okay. Seems like a fairly straightforward application. Let me do this. Why don't I go around and see what commissioners think? I don't really have any other questions at the moment. And I'm going to pick on you all just in the order of my screen. So Melinda, you're my first victim.
Okie doke. I would like to see a more specific picture of the door that you're planning. I can't quite get a feel for what it looks like from the drawings that you had.
I've included a picture there's in the packet of the door.
Is there no narrative? No,
No,
it might be in the plans.
Might be. No.
Oh, no, it's in the plan.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
there it is.
Oh, it's not you can't see it, but it's a very traditional 6, one panel with 4. Can you see it at all from that picture? I can hold it up too. Maybe it's better.
Yeah, I guess. And so it's a wood door. Is it going to be painted? What's it?
Yes, painted, but we haven't decided the color yet. Maybe to match the front door. I haven't spoken to the client about that yet.
Okay. And the picture of the new window, do you have that too?
It's not a great diagram, but it's a traditional.
I think it's the next page down.
Yeah. If you go
Maybe a couple pages.
up, I think if you go up 2 pages on number 10, slide number 10. So it's just traditional colonial.
Okay. And then you're going to match the siding that you currently have on the main structure?
The siding currently is cedar clapboard. We were hoping to do pine, board, and batten.
And so will it be painted to match the original
Yes.
house?
Light gray color to match the original house.
Okay.
Right now it's stucco in a light gray.
Okay. I have no other questions. I don't have a problem with either the window or the door. Have you considered, by the way, doing anything with the windows in the garage?
I know that the client is dying to do something with that, and that would be possibly phase 2.
Okay. That's all.
Thanks, Melinda. Abigail, just going around the horn here.
Yeah, no, I have no objection. I think the materials are in keeping with the overall kind of architectural detail of the house. I like Melinda, I think the windows on the garage now with this proposed change become more glaring. So I would encourage them to make that change eventually when they reach the next phase of the project, because I think it would make the whole design more harmonious. And I would say that if you do propose any changes to hardscape, are there long set of stairs in front of this breezeway now, or there's short stairs? It's hard to tell from the photographs. I assume there's stairs there.
There
Sure.
are, I'll have to look at the photograph, there's,
Are there like long concrete maybe?
yeah, long.
Yeah. So I would just say that any, obviously any exterior changes to the hardscape would need to be approved through another application.
Okay.
So it's always something I just want to highlight for people as you're making changes. It's always difficult to come before us. So if phase 2 involves more changes, it might help to roll it all together, even if you're going to phase it.
Okay.
So that would be my suggestion, is if they're going to change the stairs and that, and they're thinking about changing the windows in the garage, I would suggest rolling that all together, even if you phase the construction of it. So, but yeah, I have no objection to the proposed changes.
All right, thank you, Abby. Henry, you are next on my list. Oh, you're muted though.
Thank you, Peter. Anne, can you go back to the elevation?
Yep.
The plans. One of my questions is that the new door is not going to be the main entrance to the house, is it?
No,
In fact, it does not match the plan. The plan shows a single leaf door without side lights, I think. Or it may have one side light. What I'm getting at is this becomes a relatively majestic entrance, and it's secondary to the primary door in the main house.
I agree. That was my concern too.
I understand. This is the main entrance that they use every day. But I don't know what you're proposing.
Well, I don't know what you're proposing because your plan shows a single leaf door.
Oh, I'm sorry. My plan, oh, the plan?
Yeah, the
Okay.
plan drawing page 5 of this set shows the, you can see the, that's
Oh,
page 3, page 5, I think, 2 more pages down on the,
Yep.
I think right
There.
there.
Thank you, Peter.
There you go. It shows a single door and a single big skylight, or side light, sorry.
I'm terribly sorry. That's an older rendition. The client had changed their mind and wanted to do, we had originally had a single side light and they changed their mind and wanted to do 2 side lights, and I forgot to update the plan. So it is, the elevation is what we're actually proposing to do.
And is the window material wood? I couldn't tell from the attachment.
Yes.
And then to go back to Abigail's or Abby's question having to do with the stair and railings and so forth. Is there a landing at that door? I can't tell from the photo, and it's
Yeah.
not shown in the plan. So there's width for an actual landing
Correct.
at the
Yeah.
at the door. And are there railings? I don't think any of these are deal breakers, but I think we're supposed to know what they are, what your
Don't-
proposal
I
contains.
don't think there are railings. You're right. It's interesting. Honestly, I don't think there are.
I don't think
Remember-
railings are necessary if it's not 32 inches off the ground.
Well, I think the building code will tell you that they are. And then my last observation is that, well, the elevation that shows the new window. Not in the Coleman, but in the drawing.
So, and slide number, yeah, that is the new window, two
I see.
windows.
So there is there's a reasonable space between the windows in the house. I don't think it's going to make any difference. I think you can go ahead with this. I think personally that the double side light door is kind of out of keeping with the scale of the connector. I also don't think that the connector and the garage are such significant buildings within that district that it's a deal breaker. I just wouldn't. I think the architecture is kind of out of there's a scale mix up. I'll back off.
It's okay, Henry. You're not really, you don't have to back off. You're a very gentle critic. But thank you for your comments. Do you want to suggest anything, Henry, or shall we go through the rest of the group, and what do you think?
Well, I think they should consider a simpler door that may have enough glazing in it so that it gives them the light that they need to find their keys and so forth, without having the kind of relatively celebratory side lights. I would simplify it.
I'm sure the
It does
client
kind
would be amenable to that.
What's that?
I'm sure the client would be amenable to that.
Okay, yeah, it does, as Henry said, sort of creates a more sort of, it draws itself as the primary entrance. All right, thank you, Henry. Catherine, what do you think?
So to sort of follow up on what my fellow commissioners have already said, the thing that strikes me, and I'm just curious about this, Natalie, from an internal space planning perspective, I'm just wondering if perhaps in addition to Henry's comment about the door, keeping it simple, void of the side lights, if it might, I'd be curious to see, instead of putting in the new double window, sort of what the rhythm would be if we set up that breezeway elevation with, two single windows, spaced equidistant between the door and the other building. I mean, I wonder if that would end up visually being a little more harmonious, but I don't know if there's, in terms of what you're planning, that's behind this large expansive wall here, if that's not going to work. Which
So I had drawn it that way because I actually do like the symmetry of that. But then I remember that we have upper cabinets in the laundry area, which is right behind that. So the window is, it's problematic in that.
Right. I figured it was coming down to something like that. So,
yeah.
Yeah. I understood. And so often, of course, these practical considerations drive the aesthetic decisions. So I get that entirely. And I would just add that I'm very much with Henry. I think even a full French door with multiple lights would be better as far as the new door, if that's possible, instead of what we're being shown here with the side lights, because I think it does look really dominant and prominent compared to the entry to the proper home structure. And then of course, like, I would love to see that phase 2 happen sooner rather than later with regard to the windows in the garage, because I think I'm on everybody else's page here too. Of course, it's all of a sudden, if all of these other changes are going to be made, that's going to look even more disjointed. So but I understand also the needs for phasing it. So don't have no more commentary beyond that.
Thank you, Catherine. Let me just interject for a quick second. I'm looking at the photographs and I see that the drawing doesn't show existing shutters on the house. Are there going to be shutters on the breezeway or no shutters?
We have not discussed that, actually.
Because it actually doesn't look like the shutters would fit on the left-hand side of the window there.
We do have room to move the window over to the right a little bit. So if you all require shutters, I'm sure we can make that happen.
Yeah, I'm not, well, I guess I see what you're saying. I'm sure we require them. It just suddenly struck me that there are no shutters. They're also at a different elevation than the windows in the main house. So it's a question of how, I mean, I'm just looking at the photo and trying to figure out how it's going to read from the street. But anyway, sorry, I interrupted. Thank you, Catherine. Dennis, what do you think?
Most of what I was going to say has been said. I just want to emphasize what you've all said, and that is I think the door needs to be subservient to the main door. So I don't like the two side pieces. They're not really side lights, I don't think, are they? Are they? I don't know. Are they actually windows? I'm not sure. Anyway, whatever they are on the side, I'm not in favor of them. The other thing is, don't you have to have a light at that door by code? I think you have to have a light at every door. So what are you planning for a light there?
We have not chosen one yet. I don't know.
But you will have a light there and you will come before us with a light proposal.
Yes, I guess I need to, yes.
Yeah. Other than that, I think everything's been said. I can't add anything else.
Thank you, Dennis. And Kate.
Yes, I will add my voice to the new door needs to be subordinate to the front entrance. I would not approve the side lights as they are for that reason. And that's about it. It would be nice to maybe see a more accurate drawing with the shutters and that sort of thing, so we could see everything at once. That's it.
If I might just add, regardless of shutters or no shutters, I think it would be worth, Natalie, just maybe seeing if shifting that double window over a little bit towards the door might give us just a little more feeling of balance, so that it's, visually you don't feel like it's so much up against the side there. I mean, even if it's 6 inches, I think that might make a difference, a positive difference.
Okay, I also
Peter,
just heard from the
go ahead.
client that there is an existing light above the door now. I don't
Mhm.
know what it is, but so they weren't
Okay.
planning on changing it.
Natalie, is there room in that space for the windows? You've got them as a double window side by side as close as you can get them. Is there room for you to space those apart even by one of your 8-inch, like by a foot?
Yeah, yes, I believe a foot would be probably the maximum that. they could-
Because that would de-emphasize, again, the scale of that aperture and without necessarily changing the amount of light that would be at the desk.
Yes, that is possible.
I just feel too, Natalie, that it might, and I think obviously putting it into the drawing is always the best way to determine this, but might again set up a little bit of a nicer rhythm and harmony with the dormer windows in the main structure. But just a thought, but I think Henry and I are kind of on the same page with where we're going with that.
Okay, thank you. One suggestion I might make, Natalie, is I think it actually would be worth this elevation alone, just redrawing it so that it's actually more accurate, because it's just hard to see. For instance, if you look at the existing house photo, there are 4 lights, 2 on the side of the front door and 1 on either side of the garage doors, that all look the same. So obviously it would be good to match that light, I think, on the breezeway if possible. And I think the garage is drawn too tall or something. I don't think those windows are quite that tall. It's a little hard to read because it's not all rendered there together. That would be easier for us to, let's say, discuss and approve. This one's a little hard to interpret.
Okay,
Can I ask what the timeline on this is? Is this happening imminently or?
December 26th would be our start date,
Oh, wow.
but we have interior work to do. So, I mean, if I can get into the next meeting, do you meet once a month? We could hold off on the exterior work, obviously.
I think what I would say is this, and of course I'm pulling rank here as the chair, but I think the way Henry put it is right. None of these things are really deal breakers, but I think what we're trying to do is, I'm going to see if I can say this the right way. I think we want to carefully nudge this into a slightly more refined kind of aesthetic, because it's a difficult project. It really is. It's that odd, like it's not the garage, it's not really the house, it's not the old breezeway, it's this new thing. So it takes a little bit of like TLC to like, oh, maybe that door isn't quite right, or maybe we nudge the windows over. So we're not trying to be difficult. I hope you can see that, but I think we've got we've sort of tossed out some interesting suggestions about, alignments and sort of proportions. Does that make sense what we're saying, just sort of collectively?
Absolutely, definitely. I agree with
Okay.
you.
Because the problem is we can never really come out and say, all right, do this or do that, because then we get in trouble with, like, I don't know who we get in trouble with, but we get in trouble with somebody when we do that.
Peter,
No,
would the conditions for approval if this is approved on conditions that it resubmits to staff with a response to those changes, would that affect the start date and building code approval?
That's a good question. Have you submitted this to the building department already?
yes.
And they've already just said,
On the Board of
great,
Health.
go get HDC approval.
Exactly.
Rats. Man, they're always turfing stuff to us. Henry, we could approve it conditionally. We may want to just look at it one more time as a group. Just because I'd hate to put that on Haley and Ann, although I'm sure they could make that. They're perfectly qualified to make the call, but they'll want us to bless it. I would suggest we might do something like approve it conditionally with a resubmission of a more detailed or a slightly more detailed elevation with whatever suggestions we've made. It doesn't sound like it will stop the project. It might, however, prevent you from ordering that door and window.
Absolutely, but if I can get a permit to start the interior work, that would be really, really helpful.
Right. So that's what we don't want to hold up. Okay. All right, Henry, that's a great suggestion. Thank you. All right, I think we've tortured this poor applicant enough for the moment. Let's open it up to public comment. Is there any public comment on the work being proposed at 490 Barrett's Mill Road? I'm looking around. Any hands, Ann or Haley? I don't see any.
No, I don't see any hands.
Okay, let's bring it on back, and I would look for a motion from the commission, please. I can't make.
Can
Bless
Abby
you.
do this? She may know best how to state it.
She's sneezing.
Poor Abby.
Oh God, I hope it's
When
not
she comes back to life.
RSV. Poor Abby. She's got like 15 children over there with various
Sorry, yeah,
respiratory diseases.
Sorry. I don't know what happened there for a second. Okay, so what are we
So I
ultimately-
think what we're suggesting, Abby, is that we approve it conditionally, that we look for a resubmission for I shouldn't put words in your mouth, but I think we're looking for a resubmission of this elevation with whatever revision is going to happen in the breezeway, but that we don't hold up the approval because the interior work can go ahead.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
And
But we're
may I just add, do we want an updated revised plan showing the interior work as well as that?
I think so, however it affects the
This
correct
one?
door, the correct window. Yeah. That would be
Yes.
helpful too. And any lighting and, but I'm making the motion, sorry.
No, that's okay. But we're comfortable with this door as is, correct? Are we asking?
I'm
them to-
submitting a new door with no.
new
side
door.
lights. Yes,
Okay,
more subordinate door than the front door.
Thank
Okay.
you.
In keeping with, I'm just trying to make it so that this is borderline, like needing a continuance, but I'm trying to structure it so that we can approve it with conditions, but it's a lot of conditions, so I just want to get the
Yeah.
conditions.
Thank you.
Okay, so if we approved it, the conditions would be resubmittal of an accurate front elevation and interior plans showing the placement of the door and windows. Resubmission of a new door in keeping with commissioner comments to be approved administratively. Does that work for people? And with the exterior light fixture.
There's an existing recessed light that they were not planning on changing.
Great. Okay, so that's all set. Anything else before I structure this motion? Okay. I make a motion that we approve the application for 490 Barrett's Mill Road with the following conditions. That a new accurate front elevation be submitted, that new interior plans be submitted to reflect the changes to the exterior front elevation, and that a new door be submitted in keeping with the comments of the commissioners to be approved administratively.
And they want a new location of the two windows. They want them separated and moved over.
I think that will be reflected in the more accurate. I think that's covered under
Under the
the
plan.
plan. Is everyone happy with that? Okay, so moved.
A second, please,
Second.
Melinda. All right, let me go around, take a roll call vote with an aye or a nay. Melinda,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
Henry,
Aye.
Catherine,
Aye.
Dennis,
Aye.
Kate,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. So you're approved dish.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Merry Christmas.
Thank
No,
you very
okay, so
much.
so it's clear. You'll get the reply from
Tomorrow.
yeah. But good luck getting the permit and getting things rolling, especially with all the supply chain nonsense and everything else. And thank you for coming this evening.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome. So just to remind Haley, I think so the non-voting members there were Dennis and Kate. Their
Right.
votes only count for there's a grade out.
Window dressing.
Yeah.
We're used to it.
Oh, now
Garnish.
stop.
Being
All
window.
right. Window dressing, very good. All right, thank you all. So next application, 42 Monument Street. And this is in the, pardon me, Northbridge Monument Street, Monument Square Historic District. This is a request to install shutters on a side door. And the applicant, Alexandra, is here, I believe. Are you here, Alexandra? I see your name there. Maybe in
can
the-
you see me?
Oh, there you are. Yep, we can hear you.
You can, okay, great.
Thank you. Haley, would you mind just putting the, I
Yep.
think it's just the application or maybe the
They,
photos. No, I think,
they submitted
it's-
some photos.
okay, it's in the photo file.
There we go.
All right, so Alexandra, would you mind just describing for us a little bit of what's going to happen here?
Yeah, so this is a side door on the oldest part of our house, which was built around 1810. And the side, I believe the actual sort of doorway may well have been original to the house, but the door that's there and the storm screen over it are clearly not. The design and the hardware, I would guess it was put there perhaps in the 1950s or, you know, somewhere between then and 1975. Anyway, it's a little disappointing to look at as you come down the side of the house. And my thought was, because we found this pair of shutters in the basement. We bought this house 3 years ago, and in the basement there was this pair of very tall shutters which actually fit pretty exactly this doorway. So the thought was to take off the aluminium screen door and to fit the shutters across as just sort of extra protection. And hopefully that would also look more like it might have looked in 1810. There are shutters on the windows on that part of the house. You don't see them in the photograph because we just had the house repainted and all the shutters came down for that. And I wanted to repaint them before they went back up, and I haven't got around to doing that yet. So yeah, so that's the idea, and then the shutters would be actually kept permanently closed because this is not actually a working door. I don't know exactly when it was made a non-working door, but when we arrived, what's on the other side of the door is there's a fabric curtain across it on the inside, and then actually shelving has been put across because there's a sort of entry alcove, which is now basically a big shelved cupboard. So that would be the plan.
All right. So the idea would be to, so this, I see the shutters are sort of leaning. Do the shutters, there are two of them, they basically fit inside that brick pocket?
They go, they fit pretty much exactly the screen door size.
Oh, I see. Okay, sorry, I'm looking at the.
And there's only one there because that one's in good shape and the other one is definitely not in good shape, but we have a very good carpenter and we're going to repair the other one.
And then the windows would all have shutters.
The windows
eventually.
will get their shutters when I get round to repainting them, yes.
Okay, and they hang on those pintles. We can sort of
Yes.
see them. Okay. I
Right,
see.
right. So we'd have the same kind of hardware.
Okay.
And it would but it would just always look as if the shutters were closed.
And then you would just leave the railing and the landing.
Well, I'm not thrilled by the railing either. I think that was a 1950s thing. But that's going to be in another year or two. I think I'll come back to you about that.
Future application. Okay. All right. I don't have any other basic questions. Let me go around backwards this time. Kate, what do you think?
I'm actually familiar with this odd little area because I knew the prior owner. And I think putting the shutters up there will be a great way to deal with it. So no objection.
Thank you, Kate. Dennis, are you there? Oh, there you are. Oh, you're muted though. Can't hear you.
I'm having a hard time understanding this. I can't quite figure it out. The shutters, the railings would stay there, so the shutters would go on either side or just over the whole door. I don't quite.
Over the
Closed.
door.
Over the door.
So they're just gonna put the shutters over it and just close it off. So you're gonna have shutters there and a railing and the steps. I'm also not familiar with this houses, so I don't have a street view of this. So I don't know what we're dealing with as far as the location. Is there?
This is a side door. On the, yes, there's.
Oh, I see where it is.
Okay, so it's down the driveway. It is on the old part of the house though, which is the front part of the house.
Okay, and I don't have any further questions. You're just putting shutters over the door. I don't have anything to add.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. Catherine.
I have no objections at all. I think it'll be very attractive, and if the door is basically non-operational, I don't see any reason not to add back, an original feature or at least a historical feature. So I think it's fine.
Thank you, Catherine. Henry.
I appreciate the explanation. I had trouble understanding it from the narrative and the photos and sketches. I only have one question now, which is the door itself appears to be quite recessed in that opening, and it doesn't look like that in the face-on photo. I'm just wondering where you hang the shutters. Are
They would get hung on the.
There's somebody,
Well, they cover
somebody
the
else
storm
needs to
door.
mute. There's some echo there.
If you, yeah,
There you
if you
go.
are not speaking, please mute your microphone.
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead, Alexander. Sorry about that.
So yeah, they would get hung flush with the most sort of with the outermost layer of the door, as it were. They get hung across that.
So they'll basically cover the storm door.
Sorry, what did you say?
They will cover the storm door?
The storm door will disappear. I'm going to get rid of that, hopefully.
I
There
see.
won't be a storm door.
Well, won't there be an 8-inch space between the back of the shutters that you hang? Or are you going to recess the hanging of the shutter?
No, I'm not going to recess the hanging of the shutter. The idea would be to have the shutter on the
Monsieur,
side.
if you look at your photograph down the driveway, you'll see what I'm talking about, I think.
I wonder, Henry, if those are original shutters, the pintles look like they've been removed. So I wonder if they actually were proud of the, I mean, it's interesting because they don't, the other shutters open and would sit on the brick face. So they sort of have to be out there, you know.
My understanding from what Alexander's telling us, though, is that they actually are going to be within the framework of where that storm door is. So they're going to be covering that interior door, not proud of it, not on the outside.
Yeah, I understand that they will be covering the door. My question was whether they will be near the door or almost a foot away from it towards the outside. If you have a good carpenter, Monsieur, he will solve this, I think, and I don't think we're going to make a lot of progress in the conversation now.
Okay, well, I do have a very good carpenter.
You see the issue, though, in this photo?
Yeah, well, yes. And we had thought that we would hang them on the outside, not recessed.
Okay, and then I think I think, Henry, what you're raising, if I may, is the concern that leaves and things could get, now they're going to get trapped behind there. No?
Well, they won't have any way to close them. They won't close against anything. But I think that what the carpenter will do is he will put something in at the head that will more or less handle it.
You have to create a stop so that the shutters actually stop and can latch.
I think it'll be okay.
Okay. Thank you, Henry. Abby.
I have no objection.
Thank you. You are rewarded for your brevity. Melinda. Oh, you're muted.
I also have no objections.
Okay. And I don't have any really other questions other than I think that's probably right, that the carpenter, he or she, will be able to help you figure out the sort of most appropriate way to stop the doors and leave them shutters and leave them operable. Okay, why don't we did I get to everybody? I did. Let's open this up to public comment, and I see a hand raised. Krishna Balkan. Yes, did I pronounce your name correctly?
Perfectly, thank you.
You're welcome. Welcome.
Yeah, I'm the carpenter that's been working with Alexandra.
Oh.
So if it would help to answer Henry's question, essentially the shutters would be just almost in the same plane as the existing storm door, slightly behind, and yeah, there would be a strip that would catch them to hold them from in a shut position, that something that they would rest on, and they would also have a latch connecting them in the front and the middle. So it would all be held together and supported in behind. And yeah, the shutters will sit roughly 4 to 6 inches from the door behind it, something like that.
Thank you, Krishna. But thank God you're here. We should always ask the carpenter to come to the meetings, don't you think? Carpenters know everything.
I'll come
Carpenters know
anytime.
everything. All right, thank you. Are there any other public comments? I'm looking for hands. I don't see anybody. All right. Thank you again, Krishna and Alexander. So why don't we bring it back for a motion, if I could, please?
I make a motion that we approve the application for 42 Monument Street to install shutters on a side door as submitted.
And a second, please.
Second.
All right, I didn't see who did that, but I'm sure someone did. All right, let me go around let me go in order of voting members. Abigail,
Aye.
Catherine,
Aye.
Henry,
Aye.
Melinda,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Kate. Kate, did I miss you? Oh, there you are. You're muted. Are you an aye? You're an aye. And Dennis.
Aye.
Last but not least. All right, you are approved, and we wish you luck, and thank you, Krishna, for being here and answering our questions.
Thank you.
All right, good luck. All right, folks, let's keep moving on to 131 Monument Street. This is our next application, and sorry, I lost my screen there. This is in the Northbridge Monument Square District. This is to alter first floor fenestration at 131 Monument Street. So, Melissa Bonzani, and I don't want to mispronounce that because I have an Italian last name, which always gets mispronounced.
That was pretty close.
Bonzani.
Yes.
All right, welcome. Could we put the application up, please, Haley, on the screen? I think, what's the best one to look at? The plans? This is the nicest car charger I think is this the one with the car charger? No, this is a different one. Sorry. Still, that's a nice car charger on the next one. How about we look at the plans and elevations? Okay, thank you. Is it clear enough on these what is proposed versus existing? I'm sort of asking the open question, or maybe what I could ask you folks is to just walk us through what you want to do.
Okay, so we could
Thank
work off of this if that works for you.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
we
go ahead.
have on the that would be the north side that we're looking at the top photo there. What we're really proposing, there's nothing on the exterior that we're going to change except for that bay window that is in the center of the house, the first floor there. Yeah. Currently, there's a kitchen window that would be removed, and then a pantry window that would be removed, along with a rather large kitchen vent that I think if you scroll down, you can see it either in existing elevations, or there are also photos.
That's the Lang Street view, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
So that view right there is from the south side, the back of the house. Okay, that's the existing right there. So that's the existing on Lang Street, that top diagram. So those two kitchen windows, kind of in the center of the house there that you're circling, those would both be removed and replaced with one bay window. And that's where that exhaust fan kind of splits those 2 windows. That would also be removed. And again, replaced with 1 bay window. And then on this side of the house, if you scroll down a little bit, you can just see the chimney that was added in 1985 that kind of pokes through the roof right there. That's at the top of the photo, the top photo there. And you can just see the top of it poking through. That would be, yeah, right there. So that chimney was added in 1985 along with this whole addition here. And we're proposing that that chimney gets removed. It gets very little use, and we need the opening inside the home to access this kitchen and family room. So we were going to take that chimney down. And if we go to the south elevations further down, the only other item that we were proposing on the back side yeah, right there. You'll see a bank of 4 windows in the center of the property or the structure on that lower drawing. That right now has 2 windows on either side and a double door there to access the patio. And the stone wall isn't showing in this diagram, but so there's French doors with those 2 windows on either side. We're just proposing that we just have a bank of windows because the elevation on the interior of the property inside the house would not allow us to open those doors. So we're just going to turn that into a family room. And if you roll, you can, if you roll down, where is that, Melissa? The existing one, is that just down one?
Right here.
Is down, what number is that? The south elevation. Yeah, I think if you scroll down a little bit, you should pick up one more right there. That is the existing elevation on the south side. So those 2 doors there would be removed and converted into windows. Those steps would be removed. There's a patio right there, so you really can't see that from Monument Street and the adjustment there because of a stone wall that is not pictured, but we did take photographs and submit those to the south elevation.
Okay. All right, I think actually the sheet number 2 is probably the most helpful one to stay on, Haley, if we might. That pretty much shows the scope. So on the north elevation, chimney comes off. The new bay window replaces those 2 kitchen windows. I'm assuming the siding will match.
Correct.
And then on the south elevation, that group of 4 windows is replacing the double French doors with side lights. And then it'll be landscape to look like, well, probably not with those exact plants because those are tricky looking plants there.
They are, yeah. They're tough to...
But durable. All right, so that's the scope, and I don't really have any questions. So let's go around and see what my fellow commissioners think. So Melinda, if I may pick on you first.
I don't have any questions. I think the 4 windows you'll hardly even know the difference when you take those 2 doors out. And I can see why you'd want to take the fairly recent chimney out. I have no objections to anything that you have put forth here.
Thanks, Melinda. Abby, what do you think?
Likewise, I don't object to the removal of the chimney dating to 1985. I almost always object to removing original chimneys. This is not original, it's not historic. I have no objection to it. I have no objection to the changes in the south elevation. I just a question in the north elevation. Do we have any more detail on the bay window? I'm just curious, does it, do we have kind of a cross section? Is it is it flat? Does it, I just didn't see any more detail on that. I'm just curious as to kind of how much it protrudes from the
We don't,
surface or.
we don't have specifics. It is going to be a Marvin window that will match the existing as far as light breaks and all. And I believe it comes off the house around 10 inches.
Yeah, I would just, pardon me, scroll up one drawing if you would, Haley. I think it shows on the plan. You can see a little, there you go, right at the bottom.
Okay,
So it
okay,
looks like it bumps out a little bit.
okay. And is the trim package around that, does that match existing trim on the house?
Correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Okay, okay. Yeah, then I have no objection.
It's also important to note, everyone, that there's a big hood on the exterior of the house, which is being removed, which can only improve the entire town of Concord aesthetically right there. Thank you, Abby. Henry, what do you think? You have to unmute yourself.
Never shows. Thank you.
There you go.
Sorry. No, I looked at this. It looks carefully thought through. I think that Abby's question about the box bay, there's going to have to be some coordination of how that meets the eave of the little roof near it. And I'm sure that that can be sorted out on site. And
Yeah.
I also commend them for the vegetation, which looks like prickly pear in anticipation of the climate change on the way.
We're getting ahead of the game.
Thank you, Henry. Catherine, what do you think?
I agree about the prickly pear, by the way, it's funny. But yeah, I mean, I think the changes are very subtle. They're in keeping with the original structure. You know, again, very appropriate and subtle. So I have no objections at all.
Thank you, Catherine. Dennis, what do you think?
Looks fine to me, nothing to add.
All right, and last but not least, Kate.
No objections, fine with me.
All right. I really don't have anything useful to add either, so I don't have any good questions. So let's see if there's any, is there any public comment on the proposed work at 131 Monument Street? Looking around the auditorium here, I see no raised hands. So let's come back for a motion, please, from the commission.
I make a motion that we approve the application for 131 Monument Street to alter first floor fenestration as submitted.
Second, somebody second. Melinda. All right. Let me go around for a roll call vote. Melinda,
Aye.
Abigail,
Aye.
Henry,
Aye.
Catherine,
Aye.
Dennis,
Aye.
Kate. Kate's an aye, and I'm an aye. All right, you're approved and good to go. And we wish you luck, as we do all applicants.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you for the application, and we'll see you around town.
All right. Bye.
All right, and our last new application here, 41 Monument Street. This is sorry, I lost my screen here for a sec. 41 Monument Street is in the Northbridge Monument Square District. This is to construct a front porch with a new second floor bay and an electric car charging station. I jumped the gun on that one. And this is the Garfield House Trust. I'm not sure who the applicant is, but you can see on the website. I think John, are you presenting, John?
John, I'm presenting.
Yes,
Yeah, go
yes,
ahead.
I'm here as well. Good evening, all.
Nice to see
We also
you.
have with us tonight John Vanderstrick, who is the owner. And I think we have a fairly straightforward application here for this wonderful historic house. And Bob Drew from my office will actually be making most of the presentation.
Thank you, John. Hey, Bob.
Hi, how we doing? Haley,
All right.
quick request. Do you mind if I control the screens? I'm gonna bounce back between existing photos and historic photos and drawings. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. We know enough to be dangerous. So everyone can see the screen, okay?
Yes.
Okay, so this is 41 Monument Street, which used to be which is the Thomas Benjamin House, which was built in 1820. This house has been added on to and renovated and developed over the course of its life, so now it's our turn. To walk you through the scope of the work, front of the house, which faces Monument Street, does no work. Most of the work is focused on the left side, the south side of the house. This is the existing photo right here. This is what currently stands today. Between 1890 and 1930, we'll go to the historic photo. There used to be a porch there, 2-floor porch.
Wow.
And there was also a bay there. That's been taken down in the 30s by the Garfield family. So our project is to kind of put it back. So it originally wasn't there. It was put there. It was taken down. Now we're putting it back. We have a couple little wrinkles to it during the development of the house, which is where we're restoring the porch. We're matching the columns, which was there before. On the southwest side, towards the backyard, we're going to screen part of it, so people can sit out there and enjoy it and not get attacked, not be bugged by bugs. We're also, since it's a second floor porch, we will provide access to it. So there's going to be a door here, and what we're going to do, it's Marvin. We're going to divide the door to look like a double hung window. So say if you're in the driveway or walking down Monument Street and you look back up towards the porch, it's going to look like a window. We're restoring.
That's a pretty neat trick.
Thank you. We're also restoring the bay to what it used to be before. There's a sense of renovation on the inside. This is going to be the master bathroom. There's also small details which you can get into about the height of the rails and how the rails look like that. We can do that with the questions. But that's like the general side. This general side. That's most of the project. On the north side, we're the ones with the car charger. So we're doing something a little unique. The client is buying a Rivian vehicle, and there's currently a couple of granite posts here. So the idea is to kind of make another one and put the outlet in it. So you don't see these, you don't see these big outlets out, kind of mask it a little bit. I think this is probably something you may have seen before, but it's a sign of the times where everyone's going electric solely. I couldn't find a good photo of the outlet by itself, so please ignore this meter, but it's a small outlet. We're going to put it on the back side of the post so you don't see it. It's going to be kind of like a fake post, kind of match what's there right now, and kind of goes away, or kind of like you don't really know it's a car charger. Happy to dive in. Marvin Windows. We did a little bit of obviously did the checklist. We have a little summary like we've done before. What products, we can dive into the details with your questions. That's just a general overview of the project, and it's a fun project to do.
Thank you, Bob. Haley, can we put the site plan up as well,
Gotcha.
please? Oh yeah. Oh, sorry, you're controlling, Bob. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the porch.
Yep.
And there's the new post. Monument Street's down at the bottom.
Yep. The site has a very deep backyard, which is really, really beautiful.
Okay.
Monument Street's down. If you see where my mouse is, it's down here.
And we've got the car charger. We got specs, materials. As usual, you guys do a nice application.
Thank you, as always.
Lighting, can you just describe the lighting a little bit?
Oh, sure.
Lighting?
So we currently call out, I'll probably best go to the elevation. Give me 1 second. We're going to put recessed for the first floor. So it has that glow to it, which is always nice. We sprinkled in some sconce lights. There's an existing location down here and a couple above it on each side of the bay. We don't have a spec yet. We're not that far along, so we might be coming back to you with that spec, but that's the proposed locations for it.
All righty. And I'm just looking, sorry, forgive me, I'm looking through the specs sheets.
Sure.
We got windows, we got light fixtures. Light fixtures are mostly, there aren't that many. Paint color, is the house staying the same color?
That's correct. And the porch looks white. Oh, I mean, it's black and white photo, but it's the porch columns and the trim and the details of the new porch will be white to match what's there right now.
Hardware generally, I mean, I see a kind of bronze selected. Is that to match existing?
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, all right, I don't really have any big questions, so let's see what my fellow commissioners think. So I'll go backwards again this time. Kate, you're first.
Okay, I can see why this would be a enjoyable project for you guys. Great application, and I have no objections or questions at this point.
Kate, can I ask you a quick question? Do you think this requires a site visit?
Are you asking me or asking the board?
No, sorry, I'm asking the commissioners now.
I'm sorry, guys.
That's okay.
I've seen this house a couple of times. I was able to envision it pretty well. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's keep going. I didn't mean to put it on you. I saw a couple of people raise their eyebrows at me. Of course, we'll need a site visit. But anyway, let's go through. Let's see it toward the end.
We're happy to see you.
I know you guys are so nice. All right, thank you, Kate. So any other comments, Kate?
No, not at this
Okay,
point.
thank you. Dennis, what do you think?
I don't think it needs a site visit. You're putting back something that was already there, so it isn't as though you're doing something new and different to the building. It's interesting to see how bare it looks now without the porch there.
It looks like it needs something, doesn't it?
It needs something. Is that all a new addition? Was that all a new addition?
Hold on a second. I'll show you like the very first
history
photo.
of the history of the place is interesting. That it's a compilation over a lot of iterations. So how much time do you have?
I'm just curious because of that center door, it looks like it might have been an early part of the house, but then it could have just been a culinary revival. So I don't really know.
The original part of the house is right here. We used to be white brick. So there's brick on the inside. There's a couple of thick walls. It's kind of neat. And it's Forrest, the previous owner, had this great book of like the history of the house. It was kind of neat to read through and look at the life of it. So it was pretty.
Yeah.
And there was several town drawings that were on graph paper from the ZBA application in 1972 or something. It was unique.
I think it's a great project, and I think it's going to be wonderful, and I have no questions, and I think you should move ahead with it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Catherine, what do you think?
I have no objections whatsoever. I think it's a very clear and concise application. The drawings I feel give me plenty of information, especially since, like Kate, I've seen the house many times. So I too don't feel like a site visit would be necessary because, again, I can entirely understand what's being proposed here, and I think it's an excellent project. So that's it.
Thanks, Catherine. Henry, what do you think?
I only have one question, and I think I could answer it myself. And this elevation, I'm assuming the framing for the screens is behind the balustrade, is inside the balustrade. And what we're seeing is, no?
It is not. It's outside the balustrade. We typically put the balustrades on the inside for dogs, pets, going through this, damaging the screen, or adults. So it's kind of the balustrades on the inside. These screens are kind of made to. These are custom made screens. We're gonna have we're gonna detail in the way so we can take them down, like say, like if there's a bad February, but the intent is to kind of leave it up year round. Do you want me to zoom in a little bit?
No, I understand. I'm just thinking about the African wolfhound that's going to otherwise go crashing through that. And it would seem to me that the balustrade, it would be preferable if that could read all the way across, as it did in 18 whatever.
We're happy to make that adjustment. That's not a deal breaker.
Well,
We're just worried
I would have
about,
thought,
I
understand your concern.
Yeah.
I understand your concern, and I'm just wondering if there's a way to frame that so that
You want to
it
express
addresses both interests.
your
I
preferences.
think what you're doing is so beautiful with those balustrades. It's a shame to have them kind of disappear behind the screen.
We can flip it. That's not a problem. I understand what you're saying. Happy to make that adjustment.
Henry, would you like anything else? Because they're in a very giving mood.
It's Christmas.
No, I think this project is a gift to the town. I've looked at this house. Every time I walk by there, I stop and look, partly because it's landscaped so beautifully also. I don't think a site visit is necessary. I think we should do everything we can to help them get this thing done.
Thank you.
Enough said. All right, Abby, what do you think?
So I agree with Henry that I would like to see the full expression of the balustrade on the first floor. I think we always hope screens are as unobtrusive as possible, but they do often, depending on the time of day, read darker, and we're going to lose that detail. My only other quibble, and I may just be being a little nitpicky, looking at the door that is a door and not a window, but made to look like a window. What's the difference in dimension between that and the actual windows? Because it reads just a smidge smaller and a smidge lower. That would drive me somewhat insane from a personal perspective.
No
given
worries.
the symmetry of this. And I'm like, there may just not be a way to make it actually match the dimensions.
If I can interject here, the limiting factors on that opening are the fact that that part of the building is the original brick volume. So when we can't just widen that door, the door styles are a little bit wider than the windows, but we're up against the original antique brick, which we do not want to to undo. That is one, it's sort of detrimental to the history of the place, but two, it also is a huge construction ordeal. So we said we would rather slightly sacrifice the proportions of the window in favor of keeping that historical portion intact.
Okay.
We did some exploratory surgery on the inside to kind of verify the brick openings to kind of dial that in for this door and also for this bay too. So it's we have it pretty nailed down for dimensions.
If you cheated the shutters up, would that, see how they're just a couple inches lower? If you cheated the shutter up, would that at least maintain the horizontal line a little bit?
That we can certainly make that all align. Yeah, the shutters could.
Yeah, it may just. This is really me being really nitpicky, but I have a thing about such a beautiful symmetrical facade, and if it's something as simple as that might trick the eye a little bit, I'd be in favor of that. So those are the only two adjustments, and then obviously, we want to see you come back for the actual sconces. But other than that,
absolutely.
And I actually don't have any objection to the car charger. I think it's quite clever because they're not attractive and we don't want to see them. And that seems to be a clever solution.
Thank you.
Abby, thank you for doing your job. It's okay to be nitpicky. Melinda, last but not least.
Well, I don't need a site visit until after it's all done, because I think this is going to be absolutely beautiful and I'd really like to see it when, from behind there. And I have no objections whatsoever.
Okay, thank you. I believe the commission is leaning strongly in favor of this application, but let's see if there's any comment from the public. Is there any comment on the proposed work at 41 Monument Street? I don't see anybody. All right, so how about a motion from the commission, please?
I make a motion that we approve the application for 41 Monument Street to construct a front porch with access through a new second floor bay, an electric car charging station, with the conditions that the screens be on the inside of the balustrade on the first floor, and that the applicant return to us with specific light fixtures for the 3 exterior lights.
Thank you, Abby. May I get a second there, please?
Second.
All right, Kate, and let me go around for a vote. Abigail?
Aye.
Catherine?
Aye.
Henry?
Aye.
Melinda?
Aye.
Kate?
Aye.
And Dennis?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. You are unanimously approved and good to go.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
as always, guys.
Thank you for a nice complete
you all.
application and good luck.
Thank you.
Okay.
All
Bye
right.
for now.
All right, folks, I think that we're way off schedule, but we're finally at 586 Main Street. I've been jumping the gun all night. So thank you for being so patient, Jonathan. I think we're finally there. So I missed the site visit this morning. I apologize. I had a work conflict, but who was at the site visit this morning, if I may ask? A couple of people.
I had meant to go, but I was at the train station in Littleton and I couldn't.
Yeah,
They canceled
the
everything.
train was late. All right, that was going to be my excuse. All right, thank you. So let me ask the folks who were at the site visit if I could just jump in. I don't know that we need a representation. Is everyone familiar with this project? Everybody on the commission?
Can I actually?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
One thing, Peter. I wanted to just thank people for coming, and that it was a really and showing their patience, because I have done exhaustive work on this house in terms of archaeology, but I do want to the Anne had brought up on the front porch that might have been enclosed at an earlier period. And I just wanted to set the record straight. She's absolutely right. I went back into the archival photos and I went back to my conversation with the former owner at the time. And it was enclosed. I just want to set the record straight. It was enclosed before the 60s. It was reopened up and re-exposed that front door in the 60s. And that's what the Korth family did. I just wanted to let people know that conversation that happened. I also submitted to Haley a series of minutes of the entire meeting, which hopefully can make their way around. And I think you asked last time for a materials comparison, and that is also in with the minutes for the paint matching and the roof shingle matching, which I with the hardwoods left a very clear record of what was used, and I will keep using what they used. Thank you. Sorry, I just wanted to put that forward.
No, thank you. I didn't mean to. We should let the applicant go first before we start talking. John, was there anything else? I really didn't mean to. I mean, was there anything else you wanted to present to the group, or I think
no, I just wanted to be clear that I wanted to make very clearly the points of being very true to or trying to be as true as possible to the Secretary of Interior's guidelines for rehabilitation, and cross multiplying that with the guidelines of Town of Concord for dormers, roofs, and rehabilitations as well. So a lot of those decisions were made in kind. I tried to demonstrate that decision path with the folks there, and again thank them for their patience in listening to me. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Kate and Abby, you were there this morning. What did you think? Sorry, Catherine, and who else was there? Somebody else. Linda. Did you all have any observations you'd like to share with us?
Well, I could just say that Jonathan, as he basically just mentioned, spent a very nice amount of time with us. He was extremely thorough in explaining, basically not only the background and the research, but sort of then taking us through kind of his analysis and assessment of sort of the way to approach this project, in terms of like how he problem solved, to get to the solution he did, as well as, within that problem solving, of course, taking into account the history of the house and how the architecture has changed and morphed, of course, like so many houses over time. And basically, as he explained, which is so often true, when a house has gone through so many different periods of architecture over time and reflective of different periods, at some point you do have to sort of make a decision about, which you're going to follow. And so he made a very good argument, I guess, for lack of a better word, for continuing the primary mansard roof and basically keeping the integrity of what we see in the facade consistent around by wrapping that roof around the back. And he's, we have basically only a 9-foot extension across the back, but ultimately the design for the rear of the home is, now in Jonathan's plan, much more integrated, very harmonious in my opinion. So, you know, I think it's an excellent approach. I think it's gonna make a great deal of difference in a beneficial way to the overall structure. So those are my thoughts.
Thank you.
And Melinda, what did you think? Anything?
It was like getting a history lesson this morning. It was unbelievable. And it was interesting when he walked us around the back of the house. According to him, which I have no doubt he's accurate about this, it is not public purview there, even though the train went by while we were there, because it's actually owned by, who is that, Jonathan? It's owned by
The MBTA.
Yeah.
I think that yeah, I mean, it's a private ownership. You're not allowed to walk back on the tracks. You get arrested. And you know, that's really something that is a point of interest. But to that point, the rear of the house had as much attention to design in the way that we treated, the subordinate method of making the structure look appropriate. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, I mean, honestly, that chimney is really unattractive. Fortunately, it's new, so it's not an issue to take it down. But everything you're doing is improving. I mean, we don't have any control over what we can't see from the front of the road, right? But your plan is really lovely. And for the people who do see it from the train, I think they'll think it's great. So essentially, you're really just talking about the fenestration in the front of the home, because that's really all that's going to be seen. And everything you've done is very well researched, and obviously you're going by our guidelines and everybody else's guidelines, because I think you made some allusions to national guidelines. And so I think you're in very good shape, and I have no questions.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let me just see if other folks have anything to add. Abby, anything to add?
I'm very familiar with the home. I drive by it multiple times a day. I live just down the street. I do have concerns, not at all about the stewardship of the house, not at all about your commitment to the house at all. One of the things that I think makes so many of these historic structures in town valuable, charming, important, is to see the evolution of them. And the back of that house, and I could be wrong, but the MBTA, the commuter rail is considered a public way, is it not? We've always used that as a public way, certainly on the other houses on Main Street where it backs up. To be able to see that kind of, very technical term, higgledy-piggledy is what I always use, kind of evolution of a house, of the different roof lines and the kind of pieces that are added here and there. I think there's something quite charming about it. I understand it's probably not at all that practical. I understand the impulse to move to the mansard roof. We're in an 1864 house that has that solid around mansard roof. But I'm concerned about the loss of that architectural expression in the back. I'm not saying it's a deal breaker for me, but it does give me pause. So I'm curious what other commissioners think. I may be in the minority on that, but I'm open to hearing what my fellow commissioners think.
Thank you, Abby. Henry, what do you think? You're next in the rotation here.
Yeah, I was pleased to be there this morning because it gave me a chance to look more thoroughly, really, at the existing elevation that faces the Hosmer house. And my concern had been that the Dovecote Cottage, basically you have to read about in order to know that it's there. The closest that we come to seeing some hint that there was a cottage there is a piece of roof that faces the driveway. And in a way, all of that is going to be subsumed in the new mansard. I don't oppose the new mansard because I don't think, as I'm saying, that except for reading the sign, people will know that that's Dovecote Cottage. It's not legible in that way anymore. And I'm very impressed with the detailed commitment that Jonathan has to knowing the building. And my experience, as I said in the last presentation here, of these Second Empire roofs is that they tend to be the same as they face every elevation, no matter what. And in a way, what he's proposing will be a fulfillment of that tendency. I would not oppose this project, and was fascinated to learn that the basement was supported with logs rather than any kind of dimensional lumber. But that's what I mean by you have to read this about this house. The historic building is concealed within the layers that Abby described. I don't think that building this mansard is going to make those any less legible than they are today. So I support it.
Thank you. Very good. Thank you.
Thanks, Henry. Catherine, did you have anything else to add? I didn't want to skip over you.
No, nothing more.
Okay. Thank you. Dennis, any thoughts?
I'm not saying I agree with Abby, but I understand where she's coming from. And that was one of my first impressions, that we're burying the back of that house, which is kind of part of the history and the quirkiness of it, even though it's on the back of the house. I find the mansard rather monolithic, I guess, going around. Having said that, I understand where you're coming from, and I don't oppose this. I think it will be fine. I'll just miss the quirkiness.
All right, and Kate, what do you think?
You hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, yeah, there you
All
are.
All right, my top laptop's messed up. I echo Dennis. That's it. What he said.
He said.
Mhm.
I said what Abby said, so.
Exactly. I just thought I'd keep it closer. But
Gosh,
now I
I'm
said
gonna
more.
land
I
on-
ended up saying too much. I was supposed to be brief.
Yeah.
Tricked me.
All right, so if I may bring it on home, I think there's a kind of feeling of missing the quirkiness, but an understanding of the evolution of the house. So I would say we're leaning toward a kind of, I'm not going to say a reluctant approval, but an approval with sort of mixed feelings maybe that's what I'm sensing. Am I off base here, anybody?
Not for me.
Okay. All right. I thank you, Jonathan, for a very substantial application, and the standard of care is very high. So thank you for the process.
Sure, my pleasure.
Let me see if is there any public comment from the folks that are left for the work at 586 Main Street, as shown. I don't see any hands. All right, so I would look to an motion from the commission, please.
I make a motion that we approve the application for 586 Main Street to demolish rear wall of house, construct a rear addition, and install new windows.
And a second, please.
I'll second.
Melinda second. All right, let me go around. Abigail,
Aye.
Catherine,
Aye.
Henry,
Aye.
Melinda,
Aye.
Kate. Kate's an aye, and Dennis.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. So Jonathan, you're good to go, and thank you again, and good luck getting it all done.
Thank you for everything that you guys do. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. We'll be coming after you next year because we're recruiting.
I'm available.
Oh, good to
Pleasure.
hear.
Really?
Don't say that.
Really?
Unless you mean
On
it.
tape, you know.
No
That,
tease.
that was off the record. That, no pressure.
No, it
It's all
wasn't. I
being
heard it.
recorded.
Put it in the
It's all being
minute.
recorded. Thank you.
Strike that from the minutes. All right, thank you, Jonathan. All right, and I think we are getting toward our end of meeting here. We have, that's our last public hearing. Haley or Ann, anything I'm missing here? That was it.
We have other business.
Right, but that's, so we're closed, the public hearings are
Yes.
over. All right.
Yep.
So
and
we have
then-
a certificate amendment at 155 Monument Street. What's that all about now? What's that all about? I sound like my dad. Oh, the drawing sideways. That's a garage door adjustment at 155
Yes.
Monument.
They are,
You
looking
put
for
that
the
up, por favor.
applicants.
I couldn't turn I couldn't figure out how to, oh, there it is.
It's up at the very top. Sorry about that. I can share my screen for everybody.
Yes,
who-
please, go ahead.
Yes. All right.
Hi, Joanna, are you our applicant here tonight?
I am, thank you.
All right, so this is, looks like so the lower is the adjustment, the upper is what we approved. Is that right? Oh, yeah, I see. So
Correct.
so what's happening? The overhang is shrinking, the doors are being moved closer together?
Correct.
Kind of looks nicer. Oh, sorry. See, I shouldn't say stuff like that.
I don't know if you want any.
Yeah, maybe just, did I just describe the project right there? But
Yeah,
you
that
go
was an
ahead, tell
excellent,
us.
that was an excellent description.
Thank you.
For reference, we inherited this approved project, so we've been working on 155 Monument. Our feeling and hope is that you feel the same way, that we wanted to sort of two things. One, minimize that sort of massing on the garage, and likewise offer an entrance that actually has a little more elbow room, so you can, make for hooks and things and kind of mudroom-esque as you come into your house, place to hang things and stuff. So it gives the indoor space a little bit more, reduces that roof line because it kind of went all the way across, and pull the garage doors a little bit closer together. And it felt like, so those are the two sort of thoughts from our perspective of kind of minimizing the massing, but also providing an entrance or a side entrance that just allows for, a little more of taking off shoes and hanging up coats and getting through with your business.
All right, seems pretty straightforward to me. Let me see what other folks think. Melinda, any thoughts?
I like it better than the previous design, so I think it's great.
Thumbs up. All right, Abigail?
Just to clarify, so you're removing the sconce that was previously approved between the two garage doors? Is there
That's
any?
an excellent question. I assume that we would come back for, we are removing the sconce. I think we have to light the entrance. So our preference is to see it as you see it, like, maybe hide a ceiling light in the front door there or the side door there, but I don't know what the process would be, but certainly removing the sconce is something we'd like to do.
Okay, but you're not proposing any new light fixtures?
No.
Is there? I feel like did we approve a recessed light over that back door? I feel like that was on the prior approval.
Don't remember.
That's a good question. We might
That's
have.
my recollection, but I can't confirm that. So yeah, so I if you're not ready to commit to a lighting scheme, you can come back to us for that.
Yeah,
But
it would be, if I would look back and see if it was approved, a recessed light, but that's in essence what we would propose probably, but I'll check with that.
I have, my instinct is that we approved a recessed light over that back door, not in the overhang over the garage doors, but over that back door. But I
Yeah.
could be wrong on that. But I have no objection to this.
Thanks, Abby. Henry, what do you say?
I think it's very much improved. My only question is whether the doors are swing doors or the overhead doors that will have horizontal break points.
So there are overhead doors. I didn't hear the rest of it. Horizontal what?
You see the seams between the 18-inch panels that allow it to go and fold over
Yes.
into the garage.
Oh.
That was
you
just
mean
a
real-
question. I'm not against this. I think it's really much, much better than the approved original.
So those are the doors that were approved. So we're just keeping the same doors, but as obviously the shift. So they're overhead doors and they are mahogany. I forget what's in the, I don't have the application in front of me, but we haven't changed the doors that were approved.
I think they're just, Henry, they're gonna go up solid panels, I think.
I think that's right.
All right, thank you, Henry. Catherine, what do you think?
I agree. I think it's an improvement. I think it looks more visually balanced now in the proposed adjustment. So no further questions or comments.
Thank you. Dennis, any thoughts?
No, not a single thought that hasn't already been thought. So I think there looks very nice.
Okay, and Kate. I can't hear you.
What
There you
Dennis
are.
said there.
And I already spilled the beans right out of the gate saying I like the proposed adjustment
Wait,
better. So
I just was confused for a minute. Joanna, do the original people still own this house who we did the work with?
No, they don't. So we bought the house in May of
Okay,
2020.
wow.
no kidding.
Right.
we
So
scare them away?
essentially bought the approved plans.
Yeah, because when you said that, I thought, I didn't think she actually did
Okay.
most of the work. Oh, did we scare them away or was it their neighbors? Or?
I don't know. I can't comment on that, but
I think it was all of us, Kate. I think it was, more of you.
Just me.
I have no knowledge of the previous applications or the process, but it's thick
Oh.
file. So I understand that it
They were
was done.
lovely to work
It is
with.
a thick
Yeah.
file. It's a
Yeah.
very thick file. That's a very kind way to say it. Thank you. We had a lot of meetings over there.
That's my sense.
Yeah,
So-
Kate, I think you're right. I think we did sort of scare them away a little bit.
So Peter, are you
Okay,
ready for a motion?
What's that?
Are you ready for a motion?
Well, is there any public, we don't have public comment
No.
because this is other business. So yes, please go ahead.
I make a motion that we approve the certificate amendment for 155 Monument Street to adjust the garage doors as submitted.
All right, and a second, if I might. Melinda, all right, let me just go around for the roll call. Abby,
Aye.
Catherine,
Aye.
Henry,
Enthusiastically, aye.
Melinda. Melinda's an aye. I think you're an aye.
Yeah,
There you go.
aye.
Kate,
Sheepishly, I.
sheepishly Dennis,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Thank you, Johanna, for running this by us, and it is a nice improvement. And good luck with the house.
I appreciate it. And having served in public seats in Concord, I'm very appreciative of the work you all do and the time you take because it's a lot. So thank you.
Thanks.
Great
Jen.
way to spend a Thursday evening.
Yeah, why not? Take care, everyone.
All right, thanks, Joanna. All right, and with that, I think we are done. Yes. And
Yes.
Haley, anything else? All right.
Well,
Wow.
we have to say a hearty thanks and bon voyage to Peter.
Yes.
who is
Well, you're leaving as
after-
well, are you not?
So I am, but you're leaving after so many years. And having been chair and vice chair. And
Wait,
we-
don't you
Yes.
guys squeak into the first week of January? Yeah, not so fast.
I think it's January 1st. I don't know if we have another meeting.
And then no, it's like the first meeting in January.
I
You know
can,
what
the next
Is it?
meeting
I
is
don't even
January
know.
5th.
Yeah.
I think
January
we're
5th.
January 1st. I think our terms are up. I
And
could,
clarify for us?
The next meeting is January 5th.
the next meeting is January 5th, but
January 1st.
January
You're
1st.
correct. Yeah, sadly.
Yeah. So this is your last meeting.
Oh my gosh.
You gotta open the cage door.
You can
Oh,
continue
so
until
sad.
the positions are filled.
They are filled?
No, you can continue until the positions are filled.
Oh,
Well, that's
You can
interesting.
come to the next meeting. You'd
Oh,
like.
so you can't get away.
Let's see, so Abby, you're leaving and Dennis and Peter is leaving. And we still have a vacant seat, right? So we'll be down to 3, although I have a prospect for the museum seat, but
Yes, we
There
will be.
there are people in the pipeline, they just haven't been approved yet.
Yeah, I
Right.
think there's
Right.
people coming for our spots.
they're coming
So
for you.
so if they're not approved before the next meeting, you really ought to show up or we're gonna have a problem there.
okay, well, let us know.
I'm sure Ann and Haley will reach out to us if that were to occur.
Right.
We have to wear different hats though.
Posted to
Sort of
the-
maybe.
We need a different T-shirt or something. I don't know.
I think
Emeritus.
I started with Peter. This is sad.
You did?
Yeah, we started at the same time.
Is this your final year then?
No, because you went to full member like after our first year.
Oh, I see.
That's
Okay.
why you're done. But I started with Nia as an associate and then I am in my, I extended my associate state by going to Rome. So if if I play my cards right, I'll be an 11-year commissioner. Yeah. I paid
I'm not
extra
going to
for
Rome.
that.
I think I get to go to Worcester or something, but
Hey,
not
hey,
Rome.
that's my hometown, so easy.
Okay. Sorry, I shouldn't cast aspersions on Worcester. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure to serve with all of you for sure.
Oh,
I
you've
don't
been
know.
great.
Thank
Peter.
you, Peter.
I don't know what I'm going to do with my Thursday nights now, but I'll be back in some other iteration, no doubt, at some point.
I
Good.
hope so.
And Abby, thank you to you. You've been terrific.
My pleasure. I live in the district, so you're going to see me because I'm going to have to do something to
Oh.
my house eventually. So I'll pop up on the other side.
Well, you know, when you have those twins, Abby, you're gonna need to enlarge your house, so we'll probably
You-
see. that.
No, I curse you for saying that.
I was
Absolutely not.
speechless. I was-
I know. I probably have had more children as a commissioner than anybody else in the history of the HDC while on the commission. I think that's
That's fair.
probably a record
That's
that I
probably
hold.
true.
Yeah, her husband's sleeping in her husband's been banished to the dovecote for the moment.
Yes, he has been officially.
Separate beds.
Well,
All right.
I will make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
All right.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Raise your hands.
Thank you,
All
Abby
right.
and Peter.
Happy
You're
holidays.
welcome.
Happy New Year.
Holidays,
Happy holidays,
everybody.
Yes, Merry
everyone.
Christmas,
Happy New Year.
everybody.
Merry